This is Act and Analyze with Maggie and Tyler. We are two best friends.
I'm an actress.
And I'm a therapist.
In Act and Analyze, you will hear us discuss all things within media and our daily lives while relating it to our lovely guests.
We want to have fun, but also learn along the way.
Everywhere around us is media. We just want to know, what type of media helps you, or infuriates you, or makes you feel good?
We want to grow with you and leave you all feeling better than how we found you.
Welcome to Act and Analyze.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Act and Analyze with Maggie and Tyler.
We're back.
We're back.
And it's Halloween weekend, babies. We are ready to celebrate. We celebrated last night.
Yep.
We both celebrated last weekend, not together, but
yeah.
And we're celebrating tonight.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's so many celebrations. This is the most I have dressed up for Halloween since I went and visited you in college.
Yes. Yeah, you haven't been a Halloween girly.
Until this year.
Yes. Yes.
Until this year, and you know why? Like, I get decision fatigue easily.
Mm-hmm.
But when the ideas come to me, like they did this year, and the way that they did this year, I'm just, like, so happy with my options.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm so happy just like that. It all came together. It all worked out. And it's so individual to me.
Yes.
Like, yeah. So, speaking of, because that is a part of my peach and pit.
Yeah.
Are my costumes.
Yes. So, yeah, let's get into the peach and pit.
Okay, my peach was going out last night as the Lorax.
It was so good. Everyone was obsessed.
I've never felt more special in my life. If anyone's feeling bad about themselves, go dress up as the Lorax and walk around.
That should be my take care of yourself tip.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, that was definitely my peach of the week.
Yep.
So what was your peach of the week?
Damn, because last night was so fun, so that's also my peach. But, I'm gonna, talk about I'm gonna manifest right now, because the party tonight hasn't happened.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time the episode comes out, it is gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
So my peach is gonna be the party tonight.
Yes.
It's, my first, hosting officially. I've had a couple people over, but I'm really excited to, officially host people. And,
yes.
so I'm hosting a pregame for going out tonight, and then we're going out to Asbury, and it's going to be, childhood friends, grad school, adult friends, new friends, and it's just going to be a mixture of, so many people I love, and I'm really excited about it. So, I'm manifesting that's my peach of the week, and it's going to be so fun, and everyone's going to have a good time, and it's going to be great.
It is. It's going to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be perfect. I am so excited.
Yeah, I'm so excited for our costumes. I'm dressing up as a siren.
Yes.
And your costume's going to be amazing.
I'm gonna be the Lucky Charms guy.
Yeah.
But sexy.
Yes. Yeah, and we're going to slay, and it's going to be perfect.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
What is your pit of the week?
I would say the pit of the week has been the looming doom of the elections.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
We have the same one.
It's been really just there and present constantly. It's been really hard as a therapist, because all of my clients are anxious about it, and I'm anxious about it, and it's constant conversation everywhere, everywhere I look. So that's been really difficult to navigate.
Yeah, I'm sure. I can only imagine, too, with, the anxiety with, your clients and yourself, and it's, there really just is no way of escaping it. Like, that's how I've been feeling about it as well. Like, and it's not that I want to escape it, but, like, the only time I've been able to really just, like, not think about it is, like, on my 20-minute, 30-minute runs.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Or, like, but, like, even when I was drunk last night, like, I was still saying, like, please, like, yes, save the trees and vote for Kamala. Like,
yeah.
Like, because it's just always on my mind.
Yeah.
Like, even being drunk. Like, it's just anxiety inducing, and it's not going to go away until Tuesday. And depending on those results, like, we will then know.
Yeah, I really hope that when this episode comes out, I'm not sure if we'll have an answer yet, but I hope so. I hope that everyone's just like, yeah, just taking care of themselves extra, and we'll get into that with the take care of yourself tip.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and yeah, hopefully we will have history made.
Hopefully we'll be celebrating the next episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone just, do what you need to during this time, but just vote. And, there's not a lot of control, but there is by voting, and it's so important. So
yeah,
get out there and vote. At this point, you hopefully all have.
Yes,
so,
please.
Yeah.
Please.
Mm-hmm. What was your pet? Same
thing. Like, just anxiety around it, like, just the not escaping it. It's like I open my phone and everything's there, and I'm constantly consuming media that's there.
Yeah.
And then, like, yeah, just genuinely, like, I feel like my brain has not been able to take a break. The only time it's been able to take a break from it is when I've gone to yoga. And as you can, my allergies have been so bad this week. And it's like, I haven't fully felt, like, 100% in my body to, like, go to yoga or go on a run. But genuinely, I felt like I've needed to, just to take my mind off of everything that's happening in the world and everything that's being said.
Yeah.
Like, that Madison Square Garden, like, Trump rally, like, with the amount of racist, xenophobic, homophobic, everything. Mm-hmm. Like, that was really just horrifying and terrifying. And so much of what he does is horrifying and terrifying. Like, there's just no doubt about that. But that really just, like, fucking... all of it, he's a fascist, he's awful, he has the potential to literally take everything away from us. Mm-hmm. And, like, that is really, really scary.
It is.
Like, the weight of that is really scary.
Yeah, it is scary, and it's like the Madison Square Garden rally, it's like some people, like, the right is, like, it's like, oh my gosh, relatable. Mm-hmm. Like, they relate to that hate. It, like, is validating for them to be like, oh yeah, that's how I think. Like, thank God other people feel this way. Like, they truly feel, like, validated in the hate. Mm-hmm. And the racism and the sexism and the homophobia and the xenophobia. Like, it's awful.
Yeah.
It's awful. That, like, that's what makes them feel, like, powerful and validated. And then us, we feel powerful and validated to have the first woman president. Like, that's truly powerful and validating.
Oh,
like,
chills.
So it's unbelievable to me that, like, anyone can feel, like, good about having people like that run this country.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's even a close election.
Yeah.
The fact that it's so close, I think, is making me even more upset and anxious.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, anxious because it is close, but, like, also just so devastated that it's this close.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really shows how much work we need to do as a country and as society.
Yeah. Exactly.
But we have a lovely guest, Nell,
mm-hmm.
Fossa, today. She is grace. She is gorgeous. She is so kind.
Mm-hmm.
We met in college, and I'm so excited for the pod to meet her. Her partner was on, Joey.
Yes.
And she is just a light, and she has a lot of beautiful things to say.
She does.
So without further ado, here's Nell. Hello, Nell!
Hello! Welcome to Acton Analyze.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
I'm
Yes.
so excited to see
I'm
you.
excited to see you too, and it's so nice to meet you.
Yes, so nice to meet you. I've heard so many good things about you.
Oh.
Like, literally, I've just heard that you're just like an angel and so sweet, and like Maggie said, like such a warm presence, and yeah, I'm so
Yeah.
excited to finally meet you after hearing so much about you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we met in college.
Yeah, I want to hear
And
your origin story of your
Origin
friendship.
story.
Oh.
We did all 4 years of
Yeah.
our BFA together.
Yeah.
One of my favorite moments, because I've been cleaning out my room and like reorganizing my room and stuff, I found a card from you now that you gave to every single one that graduated, and I
Yeah.
found the card, and like I still think about the moment I cut your hair in college. It's
Oh
one
my
of
god, I was
favorite-
about to bring that up.
It's literally one of my favorite memories of college by
Yeah.
far. That
I
day
was
so
like,
good.
I need a new image, and then I was like, does anyone want to cut my hair tonight? And Maggie said yes. And that's-
Oh, of course
Yeah.
you did.
We had such a nice night.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, it was so fun.
It was. I hear other people. So I've like been in Philly, like making a lot of friends that also went through BFA programs, and either weren't there like during pandemic-y times or were, and they're like, yeah, the pandemic was just the worst. I'm like, yeah, it was the worst. I said, you were not our class. I said, our class was, we had a lot. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell me about what you're doing now
Mhm.
and who Nell is
Mhm.
and where she came from, her come up story.
Yes.
You're like one of the most interesting people I've ever met too. Like, easily.
Well, a common misconception I found out like a year after we graduated. This, like, you can cut this if you want. But so I'm from like super rural Pennsylvania,
Mm-hmm.
and someone in our class started a rumor that I was actually like Amish,
Oh my god.
like escaped Amish. So my mom is a workaholic, and so we didn't have internet at home because without, like, if she had internet, she would not stop working. So we didn't have internet. So like if I needed internet, like during Zoom, like, or Zoom times, like Maggie said, like I would go to my mom's office to do my work. So I think people heard that and heard rural Pennsylvania.
Oh.
And like
put
took
two
it
and two
and ran. I don't know. Okay, so yeah, rural Pennsylvania. I'm from rural Pennsylvania. My mom's in real estate. My dad's a jazz and blues pianist.
Wow.
So I grew up doing a lot of artsy things. And then I started acting in middle school. I've always been like really into music, and I started acting in middle school. And I really was into math and science, so I was like, I'm gonna be a chemical engineer. And then junior year, I had a chemistry teacher, and I hated that class. And I think I would have liked it if I had a different teacher.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I was like complete like track change, and was like, you know what? I'm gonna do acting full time. And then I did like the college audition circuit, which I like never want to think about again in my life.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm right there
I did
again.
Chicago Unifieds, and I got into Montclair, and my mom had like constantly been like, every time we went to an audition, we would pass Montclair, because a lot of the like Midwestern schools will like have their auditions in the city. So every time I went to a college audition, we would pass Montclair, and my mom would be like, you know, like they have a really good acting program, and I was like, it's too close. I'm gonna be like super, super far away. And then I auditioned for Montclair in Chicago for musical theater, and I didn't get in, and my audition kind of like bombed, but Heather, our program head, was in the room, and she pulled me out, and and was like, can you come back later and like do the acting audition? And I was like, okay. And then I got in and I went to visit the school and I loved it. And that's how I decided to go to Montclair.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And I did like it. I think a lot of things happened that have made me question whether it was the right choice to go to Montclair.
Mm-hmm.
But like in retrospect, I do think like it was like where I am like currently wouldn't have happened without it.
Yeah.
And I like where I am right now. So
Yep.
Yes.
so grateful for the
All about the journey.
okay, so that was I'm like
Undergrad.
so that was undergrad and then I had a terrible year after undergrad. And then I decided I wanted to go back I always knew I wanted to go to grad school. And my dream was to do an MFA, like, in acting. But I was just in such a bad place that I was like, I can't do theater at all. And so I didn't think about theater for, like, 2 years. And then ended up doing my capstone thesis on theater. But I went to Penn. I did the Master of Liberal Arts program, which was the best. And I picked it because it was like a create your own master's degree kind of situation.
Yeah.
So all of my classes were... I originally wanted to do it more on anthropology because I've always been passionate about anthropology and archaeology. But then I ended up just like... I did so many like medieval and Ren classes that I was just completely like, I guess we're bringing it back to Renaissance theater.
Yes.
And
it all comes back to Renaissance theater.
Yes.
Yeah, so then I graduated that and I've been teaching. I was working in special collections, but it kind of came to a point where I had to decide if I wanted to continue in like library science and maybe look for another special collections job or actually go back to theater. And I was like, I'm gonna regret it for the rest of my life if I don't do theater or like at least try.
Yeah.
Because I had thought I was gonna try before and then I didn't. So I said goodbye to my special collections life, which was like I think the hardest thing I had to do this year. Because I loved it.
Yeah.
But I'm now, because I had like a hands-on like history and artifact experience, I'm now working as a historical interpreter in Old City, which is amazing. And essentially that means that I get to dress up in period clothes.
Yes.
And it's not like reenactment, like you know how there's like Civil War reenactors where they like do the battle, but like I essentially get to teach people what it was like to live in the 1700s in Philadelphia, with like hands-on history, and I'm also teaching piano and voice to like younger kids. So I'm like,
you're an incredible pianist too.
Thank you.
Nell like plays like improv piano. It's it's crazy. No, it's like so beautiful. Like, and you would only whip it out every so often.
Well, no one knew I played piano, and then I brought it in. We had like a talent show day situation in voice class because I think they wanted us to like do something that wasn't theater.
Class.
And I was like, I guess I'll play piano. And then everyone was like, you know how to play piano? I was like, yeah.
Wow. And you just whipped it out.
No, whipped it out like we were in tears.
I bet.
No, it was beautiful.
I love piano. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing right now.
What a perfect like piece of everything that you're passionate about.
Yeah,
though, like
and
wrapped into one.
Yeah, and I am like currently like trying like submitting for things and like thinking about trying to get representation and like all that stuff. But at least my day job isn't something that I completely which is always been the problem for me. And I'm a perfectionist. So like doing a job that I don't necessarily like, but I'm still always like, well, I have to be like good at this because like I'm doing this thing and I'm getting paid for it, so obviously it has to be perfect. And then I spend all my time doing that and not thinking about auditioning.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that I have something that I actually enjoy, and like now I get to do that full time.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's good.
Yeah, are you feeling better about balancing that now that you have the job and submitting? Like, do you feel fulfilled in that?
I do, and I was doing really good about it, and then I did like a little musical review situation this month, which was so fun, and like I haven't done a musical in a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
But like coming out of that, I struggle a lot with transitions.
Mm-hmm.
So coming back out of that has been a little like weird, trying to get back on track with like submitting and stuff.
What do you like to do like for fun? Like, what is your passions and hobbies and? Yeah.
That is such a good question because I saw on the like questionnaire that you guys sent, you're like, what are your hobbies? And I was thinking about it, and all of my hobbies are like what I do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I need to like reevaluate what I think of as a hobby. I do love to like crochet. I really like making things. I like painted a lot when I was little.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't done that like recently. But I do like making music. Which I also haven't done recently. There's a lot of like hobbies that I have that I feel like in my early adulthood I've kind of like lost sight of. So that's a little sad. I didn't really realize that until literally yesterday when I was filling out the thing for this. But I really like hiking. I love being outside. Yeah.
So like exploring some inner child
Yes.
stuff and bringing back stuff that you liked when
I'm a very
younger.
I'm a very solitary person, so I like activities that I can like do on my own and not have to worry about like having another person there and like masking as much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And have you been singing like since before the music review?
I haven't done a lot of like I mean, I go to choir and I take voice lessons. I haven't done a whole lot of performances. I did one like right after, like the year after we graduated. I did like a benefit concert, which was cool, but I haven't done a lot of like performance.
Yes.
Which I should like. The problem is I feel like my self-tapes are never like good enough to send. I get in my own way a lot.
Yeah. I mean, the self-tapes, in so many ways, it's like, oh, they're so accessible, they're so easy, but it really causes a whole other...
I think especially because our program, like, especially, I think some acting programs are different, but our program was so focused on, like, how are you interacting with another person? And you can't do that with a phone.
No.
And, like, I guess, like, if you're having someone, like, read with you, you could do that, but, like, unless they're also a trained actor, they're not even going to give you anything.
No.
So it's a little...
It is. It's hard.
It's hard.
It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
And then I know I try to do the whole, like, 3 takes, just do 3 takes. But I can't just do 3 takes. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, our teachers would always say that. Just try and do 3 takes, because that's how you would do in an audition room. You would just get, like, 1 or 2 takes. But it's like, if I'm there videoing myself, I want it to be and for, like, someone who is a perfectionist, like, that's even harder to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, how it sounds like perfectionism plays like such a big role in your life.
Oh, it plays a huge role in my life. I think I've gotten a lot better since graduating undergrad. And I'm gonna say I actually think grad school like helped a lot with that. And just like not caring as much.
Yeah.
Because I care too much about every single thing I do. And that's just not how the world works. And that's kind of a hard lesson to learn for someone who cares so much.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I've always tried to bring a lot of empathy, like, with me everywhere I go.
Mm-hmm.
And right now I'm trying to, like, be more apathetic, which is super hard. But that's kind of, like, where I'm at with the perfectionism journey. And just, like, not caring. And I hate saying that because I want to care so much, and I do care so much, but I have to, like, trick my brain by being like, this doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well, it's like you can, like, care so much about not caring, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you don't want to be disingenuous to yourself because you're a caring, empathetic person, but it's like, where can you place that where it's not harming you?
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, I'm just going to care so much about being apathetic, you know what I mean? It's like, and I just, like, I know there's just so many things, like, during your undergrad experience that were so chaotic, like, for lack of a better word, that, like, that perfectionism, the control piece, like, was, like, amplified.
Yeah.
Because of so many things that were out of control.
A lot to not control.
Yeah. And it's like, in our field, like, you are celebrated for being a perfectionist, and you're celebrated for overworking yourself. Like, you're celebrated for being in the studio. Like, we would be in the studio from, like, 9 till, like, 10:30.
Or sometimes late. I remember. I remember that one movement piece rehearsal sophomore year.
Oh my God.
We were in, and everyone. I was just crying in the corner because everyone just started fighting.
You were a mess.
Yeah, Maggie and I were just sobbing. We were in the studio, and they started to realize what was happening, and, like, got security to not let students back in. But, like, we would be in the studio till, like, 2 in the morning.
2 in the morning. That was the only time we could rehearse, right?
Yeah,
it was midnight
altogether.
to 2 a.m. altogether.
And,
so
like, so they started, like, locking it, but we, like, still knew how to get in the building. Sorry, Montclair security. Like, we still knew how to get in the building. So, yeah, but I remember one rehearsal that was, like, particularly bad.
Yeah. And, like...
And would your professors be there?
No.
12 to 2?
No.
No, it would just be all of you?
No, and I don't think they knew. Or if they did know, we would have gotten in, like, a lot of trouble.
Because it's, like, that was, like, our homework. Like, was to rehearse, but it's, like, how can you rehearse when we're in class all day 9 to 5, and then people are in rehearsals
or having jobs.
Or having literally working from 6 to 10:30.
Yeah.
Then what are we? Yeah, it was like 11 o'clock. I remember that we, like, had to get together and it was horrible.
Yeah.
We did a horrible job. Like,
and everyone was treating everyone super poorly. There were a lot of things that we should not have been rehearsing on our own.
Yes.
That we were, like, told to rehearse on our own.
Yes. Yeah. Like, we need intimacy coaches present if we are kissing one another, if we're touching one another. Like, it's just, like, the stuff that we were allowed to do was just, like, so inappropriate and celebrated. Like...
Yeah. Which I think at the time was the standard. Intimacy coaching, like, became a popular thing while we were in school. So, like, it was introduced our, like, junior year?
Yeah.
Like, our junior year. Wow. So we were there for, like, the transition. But, like, before that, it was, like,
how new it is.
Oh, it's very really new. Like, so new.
I won't even, like, there are some things on, like, Actors Access or Backstage, like, if I read the description and they don't say that an intimacy coach will be present, I won't submit. Which I feel like is kind of shooting myself in the foot, but also, I don't want to put myself in an unsafe situation.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And how do you know how you become an intimacy coach?
You usually are coming from, like, stage combat background.
There's a lot of overlap between the two.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's, like, certifications and stuff. It's not just a random person that's there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know you did bring up some, like, mental health topics, and that was something that you did want to talk about today. I saw in your form. How do you feel like mental health plays a part in your life? I know that's, like, a very loaded question, but...
I mean, it's been, like, a huge part of my life. I have anxiety, like, diagnosed.
Yes.
I have, like, anxiety and OCD. I haven't really been depressed in, like, a year, which is really good, because, like, all of college I was, you know. So that's good. and I, like, freshman and sophomore year, I was diagnosed with a panic disorder. But then I was like, and there's some other things that I have not been diagnosed for, but based on family history and my own self-examination, I'm like, oh, that's what this is. So yeah, it's been a huge part of my life. And I think especially, like, as an actor, it's weird because it's all about what you're feeling. Not that you're, like, acting with emotion, because that's bad. But, like, just, like, the empathy aspect of it. But mental health in general, I was, like, 15 when I learned more about, like, what OCD actually was. And then 18 when I got diagnosed. And that kind of made everything make more sense. Because, like, if you don't know what OCD actually is, it's so scary.
Yes.
And, like, the thing, like, I was, like, thinking that I was schizophrenic. And I was like, why am I, like, I've always been a very, like, docile person, so I was like, why am I having these, like, really violent thoughts? And I don't like them. But then I, like, learned it was OCD, and, like, now I'm on medication. So they've, like, really gone down a lot. So life is livable. But for a while, it was so confusing. And, like, I wish that, obviously, anxiety is pretty common. And depression is super, super common. And, like, even OCD is common, but, like, I feel like it's underrepresented in the same ways that, like, anxiety and depression are. So that's one thing. I know that, like, really doesn't have anything to do with acting, but, like, I have a platform. We need more OCD representation. That's not just, like,
like, oh, I like this shit organized. And
like, my room is a mess. My room has always been a mess because I can't throw anything out because I'm like, oh, well, then if you throw this out, you're gonna, like, lose all this information. So it's the opposite of I think of what people think
exactly.
It is.
Absolutely.
It's like, I'm not gonna need this gum wrapper from 2 years ago.
Well,
I forget
your
original question.
No, like, how mental health, like, plays a role in your life.
Yeah, it's a big part of my life.
I have a question for the both of you. Like, how did you manage just, like, and do you manage just showing up, like, as actors when you're struggling with your mental health? Like, how do you work through that? How do you, like, disassociate, I guess, is what you have to do. Like, how, I don't know.
I did not manage.
No.
At least in college. I think now I'm kind of able to put, like, a slight barrier. But, like, Maggie and I did the Wolves right after something happened in class, and I don't know if you know the play, but it was very similar, and there was no way of, like, separating anything.
No.
And I don't really think we were, like, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we were given the tools to separate. We were just told that we needed to separate them.
Yeah.
But I don't remember being given any, like, specific tools other than don't think of it as emotion and get a therapist.
Oh. I remember, like, looking at you at the end of that play, like, every time, like, that ending. Like, I just would always look at you. Like, that was, like, such a...
That was a rough one. And you can totally cut this if you want, since it's, like...
No.
I don't know what you, like, want to include for, like, our personal lives. But, like, I think of the people in that play, I think Maggie and I had the closest ties to what happened. So I know for, like, us specifically, it was, like, hard.
Yeah. Like, that was crazy. Like, if you look back on it and, like...
I don't know why we did it.
Yeah.
I think I even, like, asked the person in charge of picking... I was like, what? Like, can't we do something else? Like, I know we bought the rights, but, like, can we lose a little bit of money? Like...
Yeah.
it's a great play, but it was like, that was a weird one, the weird timing on that.
Yeah. And you looked at me in that crazy ass wig, and I was like fucking crying still. like, that was crazy.
It was so weird. Like, the rehearsals, I know I did. I think Maggie also did. But, like, we would regularly have panic attacks the second rehearsal was over. Like, once we started doing full runs. And then, like, after the actual, like, performances, like, everyone's family would be, like, so excited to see us. And we would just be like, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
It was
rough.
It was rough.
No, I think, like, so much of, like, acting is, like, showing up. It's this, like, fine line of, like, showing up as yourself, but also, like...
Having a barrier.
Yeah. Like, having...
But, like, what's the barrier? Like, are you able to, like, put into words?
I don't think there is a barrier. That's the thing.
You just, like, have to say there is?
Yeah,
like,
I feel like,
like
the norm, or, like, the expectation is for us to be like, oh, like, I'll just shake it off after. No one's shaking it off. We're human. Like,
yeah,
the
you're not
only
machines,
way, only way to get authentic emotion is to actually, not emotion, because we don't act with emotion, but, like, the only way to get actual authentic reactions and interactions is to feel things. And there's no way to not do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know,
No.
I feel like the professional norm is to be like, oh, like, it's just...
Yeah, and, like, the depth of, like, where we would go in our program, like, I know musical theater holds, like, a different whole thing. I think that's a completely different art form than what we were doing. With what we were doing and the acting techniques that we were using, like, especially in Stanislavski, like, it's... I was looking at my notebook the other day, like, using as-ifs. Like, I was looking at that, and I was like... Oh my god, and I love this technique. Like, this is a technique that I use all the time. Yeah. It works. It works. Putting yourself in a scenario that you have relived, that you have been in, and you're
playing it out.
You're playing it out, and you're
with
using...
different words.
Yeah, and using those tactics.
So you're, like, you're reliving trauma on purpose.
Yeah.
In order to have, like, a good result.
Yeah.
Which Joey, former podcaster, Joey Stillwag, he is so anti-as-if.
Yeah.
In his, like, current, like, teaching. Because he's teaching children.
Yes.
And he's like, we need to somehow come up with as-ifs that aren't real as-ifs.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Yeah, because I'm, like, trying to brainstorm in my head, like, where's the balance? Where's, like, the... like, not having to go there, but also, like, being able to be successful in the craft. Like, what is the balance? Is there? Like...
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's to be determined.
And then you do look at people, like Jessica Chastain, who just did, like, A Doll's House Part 2. Like, that role is crazy. Like, she goes through... trauma on trauma on trauma. It's just like a traumatic play for like 2 hours.
Yeah. Anything Ibsen.
And she is like, she's like, I'm like so exhausted and a mess at the end. Like, even the wolves. Like, I just remember like coming out of that just being so drained. You're so drained. Like, because you truly go on a journey. Because the best acting is when you're most present. And when you're most present, you don't realize, like, how much work you have to do to be present.
Yeah, I feel like some of the other shows, it was like, oh, like, house party after. And with the wolf, we all just, like, went home and, like, went to bed. Mm-hmm. So I feel like shows like that, there needs to be, like...
Because it was such,
something.
like, a physical...
Oh, yeah.
Like, you were doing a whole ass, like...
practice.
Workout. Like, marathon, and also having to be an emotional marathon as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, that is, like, the good thing that I do feel that Montclair did help me with, at least, was connecting, like, the physical body to emotions.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and to knowing to know my body like the back of my hand, like I know.
Yeah, and well, you already did though, because you like came in as a full like yoga person.
But something like that could be worked on that would have been great for the Wolves is like having someone like you at our rehearsals every day, having a therapist
and not just our professors.
Being like, suck it up.
Yeah. Or having like after the performance, instead of a house party, like a support group. Like let's have a support group with a therapist present. Like,
and I think that should be like a thing.
Yeah.
Like,
I think so too.
Dance heavy shows have like a massage therapist on retainer.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, it makes total sense. Like when you, like to get the most out of that character, like what you have to bring to it is so much of yourself. Like so how can you not have someone digest that with you? Like how can you just handle and manage that?
Just to do grounding techniques after, even just for like a little while, like to get present into yourself again and like decompress from what you just experienced. Like
but anywho, pivoting a little bit, what do you like, what pieces of media do you watch to like decompress or like take away from your day, or read, I know you're a reader, podcasts, like what are your
music?
I love listening to music. I'm very much a like re-watcher. I have a lot of trouble starting a new show. It gives me a lot of anxiety to try to watch something new, which I think was really hard like in college when they're like, you have to be constantly watching new things, and I'm like, I just want to rewatch the same episode over and over and over.
Yes.
I really like Gilmore Girls.
Yes.
I really like The Office because, you know, I'm from Pennsylvania, so I have to like The Office. I love Community. The show Community. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Yes.
I've been getting really into cartoons lately. I mean, like, Joey kind of got me into anime.
Yes.
So I really enjoy it, but we don't like the same. He likes the action shows, and I'm like, I just want predictable plots.
Yeah.
Like, predictable, like, Fruits Basket, like something very comforting.
Yes.
But I also really like the show Adventure Time.
Oh yeah.
Because when I was growing up, I wasn't allowed to watch it. And but I've like gone back and I've watched it now, and it's a like deep show that I wasn't expecting. Like, I watched the whole thing through and I was not expecting it to be, I think, as deep as it was.
Yeah.
And I also like procedural dramas and like crime dramas, which isn't great for like decompressing and like grounding. But I like Criminal Minds and like Law and Order.
Yes.
But not to like.
But that is comforting for some. Those shows are comforting for some people.
And I do find it comforting because I grew up watching like Law and Order or like the really cheesy LMN movies with my mom. So because of that, they're comforting. But at the same time, you kind of look back on that and you're like, maybe I shouldn't be watching this like all the time. So that's what I like to do.
Yeah.
What do you like to read?
I'm currently in a period of reading like really fluffy rom-com.
Ooh.
Because I just got out of grad school where I was reading like
oh my god,
analysis papers
I can't even imagine what you were reading.
Like literally reading Aristotle and like and Plato and like all of this stuff.
You are so intelligent. I just can tell.
Thank you. It was definitely I loved grad school, but it made me realize that like this is gonna sound kind of arrogant, but like I know I'm smart, but I'm not as smart as like some of the people that I met there. Like, people are just so smart.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but I think because of that, I've only been reading, like, really, really, like, as dull and, like, fluffy as possible.
Yes.
A lot of Emily Henry. Like,
yes!
Just, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just embarrassing to admit. Because
No.
I feel like I try to be very, like...
Not at all.
I don't know. But it's fun. And I like things that... I feel like, especially pivoting back to acting, as an actor, I feel like, and as someone who does a lot of, like, history and, like, literature research, I find it super comforting to not have to, like, think or feel, like, too much, like, heavy or, like, dense things. So it's easier to read things like that.
I experienced this, and I'm curious if you do. Like, watching new shows or a new movie or, like, a TV show, sometimes, like, I get too immersed in it where I feel like the whole world is, like, what the media I'm, like, consuming.
Yeah.
So if it's, like, I watch a scary... Like, I can't watch I get really anxious after watching a scary movie.
Yeah.
Even though I really enjoy them, I'm just, like, on edge. Or, like, a really sad movie, like, it stays with me. Like, the emotions stay with me a lot, and even with books, too.
It doesn't happen to me as much with, like, scary movies, but, like, if I watch something that's sad or that relates at all to anything that I've been through in my life, it takes me a while to recover. So yeah, I definitely experienced that, and I think that's another reason that I try to stay away. Like, if someone tells me a movie's gonna be sad, I won't watch it.
Yeah, like,
if I know I'm gonna cry, I'm not gonna watch it because I just...
Like, I can't watch shows before, like, a work day.
Yeah.
Like, I can listen to music or, like, a podcast, but I cannot, like, wake up in the morning and watch something and then go about my day.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm doing that, I need to, like, be doing nothing all day.
Yeah, I get that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any recommendations for us? What are you, like, listening to music-wise? I know, like, you mentioned, like, The Office and those fun shows, like, pieces of theater, like...
Podcasts, books,
anything.
albums, anything.
Oh my gosh. It's such a...
Another loaded one.
It's a big question. One album that I think everyone should listen to is Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys. And there is, like, and then if you want a movie to go along with that, Love and Mercy is about Brian Wilson's life, and it's got Paul Dano and John Cusack in it, and it's really good. But Brian Wilson has, like, struggled with mental health a lot in his life, and I think it's so evident in Pet Sounds. And also, it's such a revolutionary album in terms of, like, production. So I think that's one that everyone should listen to. If you like a spooky book, anything by Ruth Ware is really good. I recently read The Death of Mrs. Westaway, and it was, like, the perfect cozy thriller where, like, it's really cozy, and then at the end you're really like freaked out, which I know you talked about, like, you're like, I don't want to read, like, or watch something, like, too freaky because it'll freak me out. But I, like, if you're up for a thriller, I would recommend that. If you want just, like, a good movie time, anything Hayao Miyazaki. So, like, Howl's Moving Castle, Castle in the Sky, anything by him is going to be, like, a great time.
Yes.
And the music is amazing.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I definitely have more that I can't think of.
No, those
And
are
I feel
such
like
good recs.
No, those are really good.
And I know there was so much gap, like, there were gaps in between them, so.
No,
Oh my God.
that's okay.
Don't worry. No.
Do you want to plug your social media?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Since I'm an actor,
Yes.
I'm not like Joey, who is like, don't come find me. My Instagram is @forthenellovit
I love
with
that.
underscores in between each word. And my website is just nellfossa.com. I need to get more videos up there, but my resume is on there. And I'm hoping to like put a little blurb of my like capstone thesis, because I do market myself as an independent researcher. So
Yes.
yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Nell, so much for coming
Thank
on.
you for
This
having
was
me.
such a good conversation. Thank you both for, being so vulnerable and feeling safe to get vulnerable on the pod. I appreciate it and hope you had fun.
I
with
did have fun.
it.
Thank you.
Of course.
Best
Thank
Nell.
you.
Welcome to Maggie's Media Munchies, where I give you guys some media to pair with some yummy things. What I have for you is something that Nell mentioned, is a show that I love a lot. I feel like it's so generational because it's just about like a daughter and her mom just surviving and thriving in a little Connecticut town, and it's so cozy. So pair it with a nice snickerdoodle cookie. Nice warm snickerdoodle cookie. Freshly baked. Sit with your people. Watch the Gilmore Girls and get cozy. Especially it's such a calm show to watch, especially in a time of chaos right now. So I definitely recommend that. My other media munchie is a movie that Tyler and I just saw Saturday night.
Yeah.
It's based on like the first the 90 minutes before the first episode of Saturday Night Live ever. And we saw it and it was very anxiety inducing, but it was very fun and very New York and very like, I just thought the casting was incredible. I would pair that with an espresso martini. I feel like it's very New York, very classy, but also sassy. Explosive. There was a lot of chaos in there. Yeah, and it's a fun movie to watch with friends, and it has the right amount of fun, like tension, comedy, and yeah, you're on the edge of your seat a little bit. It's great. It was great, and the casting I think is amazing. Like I can't even imagine how much fun they had on set. It looked like a good crew. But
Yeah, it was good. That's a good one. That's a really good one.
That is my media munchies.
Amazing.
So eat up.
Yummy. Welcome back to Tyler's Take Care of Yourself tip, where I give you a tip to take care of yourself. So at this point, Halloween is over, but that doesn't mean the fun has to end. I feel like a really beautiful thing about Halloween, I feel like this is why, like within the queer community, it's like the most loved holiday. Is because it allows people to really get creative and express themselves in a way like they feel like they can't the other 364 days a year. And yeah, it allows people to just like be really creative and expressive and all of that. But for this take care of yourself tip, it's to, think about that the fun doesn't have to end after October 31st. You can, or I empower you to still express yourself and be creative in how you want to dress, how you want to do your makeup, jewelry, all of that, any time of year. And to, not feel shame around it and express yourself and have fun with your looks. If that's what you choose to do, it's your prerogative, and don't let anyone stop you from that. So, that is express yourself and dress and do whatever makes you feel your best, as long as it's not offensive to anyone, obviously. No like MAGA stuff or any hateful things, but other than that, be you and be proud.
Take care of yourself, people.
Follow us at Act and Analyze
Yes.
podcast on Instagram, YouTube and TikTok. Subscribe, do the whole thing, share, like, rate us, comment, do your thing.
Do your thing.
Yeah.
And we'll see you again next week.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.